Welcome to Misfits and Mystics podcast, where we have conversations intersecting faith, mental health, artistry, and social justice. We're so glad you're here. So get cozy.
But not too cozy, because we do keep it real on this podcast.
Listen with care.
And enjoy.
What up, everybody?
Yo.
It's another episode of Misfits and Mystics, and it's me, Abra, and I have Alicia on FaceTime because technology hates us.
It's always messing with us, but
But we're still gonna get episodes out to you because, this is important. And we have a special guest with us who you will be hearing from again later this month. We have my wonderful friend / mother / teacher / mentor / goddess queen. We have Nomi with us.
Hi guys.
Woo! So anyway, I don't know what we're talking about because Alicia planned this, so
I do.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. All right, so we're talking about sex, of course, because this month is all about it. But this episode, we're going to break down what I would like to see as the explosion of sex, the wonderful climax, a good old orgasm.
Wow.
Are you all excited to talk about this with me?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to focus on the different ways that people can achieve orgasms. And I've already done research on this before just because I am just interested in sex. But I was like, let me get even more information before we do this episode. But even with all the information I have, I am not, this is not my field. I'm just a person who loves sex, okay?
Okay.
So I'm not, coming at y'all look, this is what it is. I've studied this for 15 years. No, I haven't, okay? I just like it. So we're going to give some actual facts, but then we're going to just talk, you know? You feel me?
I feel you.
So let's start with a very, very basic. What is an orgasm? An orgasm is a climax of sexual excitement characterized by feelings of pleasure centered in the genitals and in men experienced as an accompaniment of ejaculation. I think that's a good definition.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just to start out with some, I knew I was going to struggle on this word. Statistics. Let me slow down. Statistics of orgasming. So this is from a site it's called Simply for Adults. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So it says that 25% of men and women feel under pressure to reach orgasm during sex. Pause. So I read that, and I was like, I'm not completely sure I understand what they mean or what that feels like to be under pressure to reach orgasm. So can y'all help me out with that one? How would you feel under pressure? I don't understand. How do you feel under pressure?
Go ahead, Nomi. She raising her hand. It's so cute.
Okay, so from what I learned is, and as time has progressed, as history, women have been told that pleasure or having orgasms, that's something that we want our partners to experience before we do. Right? Mm-hmm. So most of us, we've gotten older, especially as women, we don't even talk about, the possibilities of having an orgasm, especially, during masturbation or during sex.
Right.
We don't discuss that. We're not when you have sex, this might happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We never talk about that.
Right.
So we really don't even know what to expect. I know women that have never even had an orgasm before. Mm-hmm. Sex feels good to them, but they've never actually had an orgasm. So So the whole under pressure, you know, it's like it's what do you call it? It's performance anxiety. I want you to know that I can bust one and I can wet up your sheets, and if I don't bust one, you're thinking something is wrong with me. So we fake it. That's where the whole faking the orgasm thing comes from, because I want you to know, I want you to think that I'm not broken, like everything is okay with me. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
And see, it makes sense that I didn't get what they were saying, because that's something that I'm always like, no, I will never fake it. If you're not doing a good job, you're just not doing a good job. I'm not performing for nobody.
Right.
So I'm so like anti-faking it that I don't ever feel that performance anxiety.
Yeah, I guess I haven't had that many partners, so I've just experienced most of my orgasms have been just me. So I don't have anxiety about myself. Right. So I guess I will say, like, the partner that I did have, like, I didn't experience that pressure to perform or having anxiety about it. I guess because, and I know we're going to dive into this later, but for me, it was more about the connection and the experience than it was about achieving something in the end.
Right.
So there was no pressure, and maybe also because my partner was a woman, so there's already this assumption that, like, well, women know women, so you kind of have a general understanding of what's going to feel good, and so we don't need to have this, like, performance thing that I feel like a lot of maybe heterosexual couples have. I don't know. So that's kind of where I am with that.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing came from Simply for Adults is 93% of men. Okay, sorry. So how men reach orgasm? 93% by masturbation, 84% for oral sex, and then 80% sex. And then for women reaching orgasm, it said 87% sex toys, 79% sex, and then 75% masturbation.
They also did a poll on what men and women want in the bedroom. Now, the only thing is they did not include any of the people's background or any information about them, or even how many people they let do the poll altogether. So we're missing some stuff here. But it says that he won 54% more oral sex, 43% more time on foreplay, 42% on introducing sex toys. She wants 38% more oral sex, 47% more time on foreplay, and 35% introducing sex toys. So, along with that, they also have that during sex with their partners, 65% of men reach orgasm every time, and only 40% of women reach orgasm most of the time.
Wow.
That's pretty much all the statistics that I have from Simply for Adults. But then I wanted to go into some more information. But before I even move on into any thoughts, feelings about all the information that I get.
I think it's interesting that it said so many men have an orgasm all the time.
Yeah.
But then it said so many women most of the time.
Yeah.
Or some of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know why that is, what that is, why the differentiation between all the time versus most of the time.
There's this thing called the orgasm gap, right? We know that men, because they only have one organ that they're working with sexually, and we have a lot of men bypass the clit. Like, it's not part of of the whole, the whole play. Like, no, we can't just have orgasms from, this is from, again, heteronormative sex,
right?
With men and women. You just can't bypass the clit and think I'm just going to be like okay with that. Like it doesn't fit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So most men do not understand that we are not going to have an orgasm just by sticking your penis inside of my vagina. You're going to have to give me at least 45 minutes of some clit play. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Talk
to it, whisper to it, nibble, flick, something. But yeah, it doesn't just happen like that, and that's the reason they want to rush. They're rushing like, I need to get mine. Did you get yours? If you have to ask, no, I didn't get it. So yeah,
wow,
that's why they're missing that one component.
But my question, yes, I'm aware that people miss the clit, and that's why women aren't achieving the orgasm. But I'm wondering, why does it say all of the time? Like, how many women are having orgasm all the time? Are you saying that no woman is achieving orgasm all of the time?
The article I read is 80%.
Okay.
80% of women do not achieve orgasm through penetrative sex.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nomi said something that made me want to ask a question, and I'm trying not to lose the question. I feel like it's running away.
No!
The question. If I remember, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I should have wrote it down. It's a head off. So let's talk about the different ways that one can accomplish an orgasm. But before we do, I wanted to know how many ways you all know of. Nomi, I don't know if I want you to answer this.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, the clit, obviously I know with men, like, the prostate, and then some other, like, there's some sensory ways, like, as well. So I guess, like, about 2 to 3, like, of my own knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. Should we let Nomi answer?
Yeah.
So again, there are different types of orgasms, and there are different types of orgasms, right? So like I can be stimulated, like okay, so I'm sensory driven. So if it's a particular smell, or if it's like the atmosphere in the room, like that heightens everything, and I'm able to achieve orgasms that way. Like nipple play, I can achieve orgasms that way. If you really, really know how to kiss, oh, I'm seeping everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I really think it's like, I mean, like when I'm with women, I know that like we take so much time, we take so much I mean, it's almost effortless, but with men, it seems like they kind of trudge through it. So I have to say that I fake more orgasms with men. Well, really, most of the time. But I fake orgasms with men, but I don't fake them with women. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, but mainly it's, it's the little button that does it for me every time. So, but nipples, kissing, smells, tastes make me go there. So yeah, all of that works.
Yeah.
The smell is a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, you and I have talked about that, about the smell thing. I think for me, sound is a big thing. Like if I hear the breath,
yes.
If I hear like the moan, the response, like the response.
That'll do it.
Like that is a thing for me.
Nice.
So that's what I was saying, like with the sensory thing,
Nice.
like it's more of like sound versus like smell or taste. I mean, touch obviously, but I would say touch and sound is the big one for me.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So I'm going to read this thing here that has 10 explosive female orgasms, but of course there are so many more. So this is just going off this because it has a lot of information. But even you are just talking about the sensory part. Like, I mean, they've mentioned some sensory, but I know that there's so much more to go into. But I just wanted to give an overview of this list that they created. This is from mommyverse.com. So 10 types of female orgasms. We have clitoral, vaginal, G-spot, A-spot, deep spot, U-spot, breast, oral, skin, and mental.
Yeah.
So, are there any on that list that you've never heard of, or like you want me to read the information to understand it a little more?
Yeah, all the alphabets.
The alphabet. Other letters.
You know?
The alphabet was?
Letters.
The A.
I know everybody's listening is like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Like, okay, like I've heard of the G-spot. Like, because that's the gold mine. Like, you want to find the G-spot, okay? But the A-spot and what else? The Q? The T? The T, the U?
So, the A-spot orgasm is achieved by stimulating about 7 to 10 centimeters or 3 to 4 inches deep in the front wall of the vagina.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like the G-spot. It's just another specific spot that has its own, you know, other level of sensory, and I'm guessing probably is more sensitive for certain people.
That's interesting.
And then the deep spot is orgasms that can be achieved by stimulating the deepest back wall of the vagina right before the cervix. It literally has a picture next to it that says "Go deep."
Oh.
So it's that moment when you're like, "Go deeper," like there's something more back there. Like the sensory doesn't end at all.
Got it.
It's pretty cool. And then the U-spot orgasm can be achieved by stimulating a small area which contains sensitive erectile tissue located directly above and on either side of the urethra opening.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Just there was a name for it.
Yeah.
I think the rest are pretty, you know, oral, skin, mental.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's a lot. And like I said, I'm sure that there are so many more. But then I also went to find the same for men, which I have to tell you was actually hard to find. Because when I searched for women, it like there was a website, but then there was a picture, and I had seen the picture before, so I was going specifically to look for that picture that had all of this information in one picture. But then for the men, I had to search through multiple websites, and then there was no like very well put together picture that I could just like take off the internet and be like, okay, this is it. I had to like scroll down through it. So yeah, I think they need to work on that. But the men, you all tell me, what do you know about men's orgasm?
Well, obviously, one that involves ejaculation, prostate. And then I would assume that it would be the same for them, like with sensory things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, same.
That's where I'm at. Anything else?
I mean, like men have the exact same parts that we have. So we have the same erectile tissue. We have the same it's just arranged differently. So I feel like it would be exactly the same. Like, you know, they may not have a G spot, but if they're open enough, they will allow you to get really close to their prostate. But,
right.
you know, they have to be open for that. But yeah, I'm curious.
Okay. So, again, I'm sure this is not all of them. They definitely didn't mention anything along. Well, let me not say that. I'm just going to go through it. So, we have ejaculatory, which is the standard, pelvic orgasm, non-ejaculatory, also known as retrograde ejaculation, prostate orgasm, blended, energy orgasm, and then multi-ejaculatory or non-refractory period.
I see. Okay.
Talk to us about the pelvic one.
Okay. So, pelvic orgasm for men can actually, this is where they can learn how to hold their orgasm and send the energy rushing back into their pelvic region through practice.
So it's tantric.
And so it's basically like self-control, and they have to like teach their bodies to do it in order for it to happen. But it causes more sexual satisfaction. So their usual orgasm can be like intensified. What else does it say? It says, if you would like to feel a pelvic orgasm, you have to relax your mind and control your bodily functions prior to orgasm. Hold back your ejaculation and send it back through your body for a full pelvic orgasm. So yeah, like really focus.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I know that that's like a general thing, like people, like, I know that in general, like you, like right when you're about to climax, if you hold back and stop and then carry on again, like it can intensify,
right?
You know, but I get, again, I just think it's interesting because Nomi was saying, like, we all have the same parts, essentially, just arranged differently. So essentially, we all should kind of be experiencing or capable of experiencing similar things. It just seems like there's different names for it, maybe, and different, might have to go through a different process of achieving it.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, everybody, I mean, I feel like we say this every week, everybody is different. So, wow. But it's interesting to, like, hear all the names for them as opposed to, like, well, did you have an orgasm? And it's kind of like, well, what kind?
Which one? Right, what kind are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah.
That's interesting because I've actually had a conversation like that with some friends. It was myself, I think maybe one more female friend and some male friends or whatever. And basically they were telling us, like, we were asking how their orgasms feel and like trying to compare and see like, okay, you know, what's going on in your body? Is it the same as mine? Was it the same? Like, what's up? And all of the guys except one said that pretty much every orgasm is the same. Like, they're on levels. And I was like, oh no, we experience levels, okay? And so it became this funny thing of like, wow, like, I would never want to be a guy because I like to, you know, experience the different levels of intensity. Sometimes it's like a soft orgasm, like, you know? And it was just like, you know, you don't experience that, and I thought that y'all experienced the same way as us, and now that I know y'all getting different experiences almost every time, I'm a little mad. And I'm like, I would be mad too, so I'm so sorry. But but there was one guy who was like, it is different for him, so I wonder, had I known this information, I think I probably would have asked more questions, because, like, there are actual explanations of different work. Like, I all the time, I thought that it was always the same for guys.
Right.
So I wonder if he just, like, has more control, and then if he'll be able to explain. I'm going to have to talk to him to figure that out and come back. Because I literally had no idea. I thought that I was going to look it up and it's going to be like, oh, no, we we have this, just a couple ways that you can do it. But, no, it's not much happening. But that's not what this is.
Right.
So I'm amazed, and I'm happy for the guy. I should learn how to, do what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, and just to like piggyback off of what we've been saying these past 2 weeks, I wonder if that has something to do with, because there's this focus on women being sexually repressed or oppressed, but I feel like guys can be victims of that too, because we, especially about the prostate thing. I think it was like maybe when Whitney was on and we were talking about how men might feel ashamed to experience pleasure in that area because it's associated, with butt stuff, and butt stuff equals gay stuff, in our thinking, and men aren't often open to the idea of like women or whoever they're having sex with, helping them to achieve that pleasure, that maximum orgasmic experience in that area of their body.
Right.
Because of the narrative that if men are having fun in the butt, then then they must be gay.
They low key.
They low key or whatever. And so I wonder if that's why, a lot of your guy friends are like, yeah, it feels the same, because they haven't allowed themselves to explore, in that way.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
Don't be ashamed, guys, about butt stuff.
Open it up,
okay?
Okay, so all that information about the male orgasm came from, wow, I just lost it that quick. It came from blackdoctor.org, blackdoctor.org. So if you want to read more of that information, you can go find it there. And actually, I didn't even get all of the information because after it talks about the different orgasms, then it goes on to basically give like tips and like help on how to reach some of these orgasms, which I think is pretty cool. And they even like telling guys about Kegel exercises, which I don't really hear men talk about much.
Right.
But women are always talking about it.
Yeah.
They have some daily practice tips. They have a lot of information, so I would definitely use this as a resource if I needed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So going back to the whole polling thing, I wanted to get some information, well, not really information, but knowledge of people who follow me on Twitter, or who follow us on Twitter, because I posted it on our page as well, on how many people have actually achieved 1, 2, 3, or more of the orgasms that I talked about. So the very information that I just gave on the female orgasm and the male orgasm, I posted on Twitter, and I asked everyone who encountered the tweet thread to read the information first, and then to vote on where they stand. It's kind of interesting. So for the ladies, I had 28 votes, and 4% said they've never orgasmed. 25% said only one type of orgasm that they've experienced. 21% said 2 types of orgasm, and then 50% said that they've experienced more than 2 types, which is pretty exciting.
Yes.
People are out here living their best lives. Okay?
Yes.
And then for the guys, there were 14 votes. I wish there was an even number of votes, but it's okay. There were 14 votes, and 0% never orgasmed. Nobody could relate. 36% said they've only experienced 1 type. 43%, which is the highest, said they've experienced 2 types. And then 21% said more than 2 types.
Okay.
Which is also still exciting, and I would like to know what are the types that that they've experienced.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't think anybody's going to give that much information, so it's okay. But,
Yeah.
although, well, it was more so women. I had two friends ask me if they needed to vote on the poll, if they could just tell me instead. And part of me wanted to be like, I mean, hell yeah, you can tell me. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Because I love talking about sex. But then I was just like, well, that really doesn't, you know, I need the numbers. So they ended up voting, but now I'm like, dang, I should have started that conversation too.
Mm-hmm.
But the door was presented, so I'll go back to it. Okay. So, yeah. How do you all feel about that information? Is that, like, you think it's good, or?
I'm wondering if when you ask the question, the different types of orgasm, are they more so talking about like the different types of sexual expression, or the actual types of like orgasm, like the multi-orgasmic or the mental, or are they talking about ways that I can actually bust one? Does that make sense?
Like, if they're processing you the same way as you?
Huh?
If they're processing the same as her, or
yeah. Because it's like if someone says, yeah, I have two different types of orgasms. Either I'm going to have orgasm by you having your mouth on me, or I'm going to have an orgasm with you having your hand on me. Or is it the orgasm that says, or are they saying, yes, I'm multi-orgasmic, or I have a pelvic orgasm? Like what do you mean? Or what exactly are they saying when you ask them the question, what types of orgasms do you have, or how many orgasms do you have, or what type of orgasms do you have? Did you like give like a pick out of these, or how did you ask the question?
Yeah, I guess it is based on just like the ones that I read. So the picture that I was talking about that I got offline with the 10 explosive female orgasms.
Okay.
I posted that to reference because I knew that if I just said like how many orgasms have you had, that could go in any direction.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm assuming that they went off the picture, but then again, like, people don't always read, even though that was an instruction.
Right.
And then still, it could be like they could have a completely different thought process. So yeah.
Yeah.
On different phases.
That's someone again.
Yeah, I mean, if people were willing to follow up with you,
yeah,
like starting with the poll and then like having some type of canvassing of like, can you expand or expound upon like what types of orgasms you have experienced, and then you can kind of go into like, what was that like for you, you know, kind of opening the door for people to basically like talk about their sexual experiences, which nobody wants to do. So
right.
But
I probably will like follow this up just in a different way. Maybe have people send me private messages on Twitter, or even if I post it on like Snapchat or something,
right,
and then use that app where people can send you anonymous messages. And so, like, posting, like, okay, these are the outcomes, and then I'm looking for this information, you know. That would be the best way because, you know, a lot of people like talking about sex, and they don't like talking about themselves.
Right.
Like, I realize a lot of people get very uncomfortable when it's like, you're just talking about it in general, and then you're like, oh, well, what have you experienced, or what has your experience been like with this? And people, like, shut down and either become, like, shy or extremely defensive. So it probably would have to be done in an anonymous way. Although I absolutely don't care, but people won't know that. So
I also
I'll try to follow up.
Yeah, I also want to acknowledge that when I retweeted the poll, like, there were some of my followers that felt like in the middle because they identify as trans or non-binary, and so they were like, which one should I vote for? Because, and not that I am aware of like what their transition process is, like it's none of my business what genitalia you have, but like I started thinking like, I guess like that is a thing because let's say, yeah, I don't know. There's so many different ways of that, but I think when Nomi was saying like we all have the same parts, just structured differently. I think if people thought of it that way, then they would be able to vote accordingly. And I like that you had told them like vote for like do both polls. But I wonder I wonder how we make that more like inclusive, like the language. And I guess the only way I know how to make that inclusive is to just not label like man woman, but just list all of the different ways a person could orgasm, and then like you would obviously like know, well, like in that way I know that that's not applicable to my body, right, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I will. I'm holding myself accountable to reach out to my trans friends and ask them like what would work better for you. And I'm not I'm not trans, so I'm not gonna speak for them, but I just wanted to acknowledge that was also a thing. So if people were bold enough to like reply to me with that, like I wonder how many other people who saw it were probably thinking the same thing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that would also be interesting to like, I would be down to like canvas people like, okay, so because we were talking about yesterday, like Nomi and I were talking about yesterday about like when people transition, like how their sexual behaviors and feelings like shift like once they have begun that transition process. So that would be, I would be interested to know that as well, like how you're achieving orgasm, how you're experiencing orgasms as you're transitioning,
right, yeah,
as you're like coming into your body and being comfortable with your body according to how you identify. But I don't know. But I guess the same thing could be said regardless of gender identity, because like I think it's just a given that the more comfortable you feel in your body, whether you're cis or trans, if you love your body and you're feeling comfortable with it, then you're able to be more relaxed in it, which is only going to be helpful to you in achieving orgasm or experiencing pleasure. So, yeah.
Yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now I'm really interested.
Yeah. I could see us like doing this and like canvassing people, and then maybe like 6 months from now doing like a follow-up episode just to see what people are saying.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I really want to know what people are saying.
Yes. Write that down.
Okay, so that's pretty much all I have. I just wanted to give a little, more information. But I really want everyone to have really good orgasms too. Mm-hmm. So I figured we could give some advice on our experiences, or from our experiences, or just what you would be good. My biggest one, I wrote a list, but my biggest one is to learn your body.
Yes.
Because when you know your body, then you usually are able to help other people learn your body. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of people who don't want to teach people how to have sex with them. Don't know why. I don't know. But I enjoy teaching.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, I require that you have at least a general foundation. Mm-hmm. Most of the time. Unless I'm like your first experience, then that's a little different. But I feel like there should be some type of knowing, even if it's just little like internet research and not like physical research. Mm-hmm. But still, when you know yourself, then I feel like it's a much better experience with someone else. And not just to know what you like, but most importantly to know what you don't like, so you can tell the person, like, these are my boundaries. Don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say not only learning your body, but loving your body. Like I was saying before, if you can learn to love your body first, it will be easier for you to appreciate other bodies. And if everybody is loving their body and loving other people's bodies, then we're all just going to be super relaxed, and it'll just be a lot easier to enjoy the experience. Yes, and I definitely advocate for self-exploration.
For sure.
Like, regularly. If that's what you want to do. I'm not saying that this is like a requirement, because I also want to acknowledge that some people may not be like that sexual. So yeah, do what you want to do, in the way that you want to do it. But if you are someone that really desires to achieve orgasm, or at least like enjoy the sexual experience, the more you can explore yourself and be comfortable with doing that, then, like you said, you can communicate with people what you like. And I literally was just watching a video on YouTube. Her name is Stevie, and she does a lot of videos on lesbian sex, because her thing is like, we're the most overly sexualized, but oftentimes the least informed about ourselves and how to enjoy sex with one another. And she was saying like, a lot of people think that because I'm a sex educator and an advocate that I'm just automatically good in bed. And she was kind of debunking this idea of like what it means to be good in bed. And she was like, I mean, I guess I'm good in bed because, essentially she was saying, because I'm a good listener and a good communicator. So she was like, literally all you have to do is be like, okay, what do you like? And then when they say, I like it if you touch my tits like this, and then you touch their tits like this, and voila, like, here we go. So, like, it's really not that complicated, but really, and so that kind of made me think, well, maybe the issue isn't, like, the sex part, but it's the human part of, like, human skills that are transferable to so many different things. Learning how to listen, learning how to communicate, and learning how to set boundaries. Like, these are all transferable skills. So if you're a good listener, then you're going to be great at pleasuring your partner. If you're a good communicator, you're going to be great at receiving pleasure. So, yeah, just learn how to be a better human being, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Okay, advice?
Yeah. I don't know. What you got?
Nothing good. My other advice was for more exploration. I feel, okay, now this is literally me saying I feel like, because I do not have these toys. But toys that are directed at specific areas, if you're trying to, you know, have a specific type of orgasm, then I know there are toys for the clitoris and for the G-spot. I'm not sure if there are any other, like, toys specific to areas.
Definitely for anal anal stimulation.
Oh, yeah.
Nipples.
Nipple.
Even your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot.
There's a lot.
You said your tongue?
Yeah.
What is that for the tongue?
Some people, when they're being sexed down, like, you know, when they're having sex, when their tongue is stimulated, it's like a direct correlation between your tongue, your navel, and your vagina. So they have a thing that goes on your tongue and it vibrates.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
And it's like, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think finding a joy and learning about it can definitely help with more of that, like you said, self-exploration and learning your body.
Yes.
And once you find that out,
do you have any other things?
Once you find out, and y'all have mentioned, both of you, about know what you like, know how to communicate it, and I would like to add to that, know what turns you on and what turns you off. Mm-hmm. Know what your accelerator is and know what your brake is. Like, I think that's like the most important thing, and write those things down, even though if you're not able to communicate them, because I know a lot of people don't like giving instructions when they're concentrating on trying to have, pleasurable sex. That can be difficult for some people. So I think what leads to being pleasured is having conversations before you have your clothes off. Like being in conversation while the lights are on. You know what I'm saying? Being mm-hmm. able to express those things that turn you on and turn you off before that time comes. I think that's also really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. Which...
I wonder how many people actually have conversations.
I think there's more people than you would think. Like, I don't want to be that cynical Cynthia.
I definitely am cynical Cynthia.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a big number, but I definitely am hearing more voices. I guess like the voices in the sense of people that have platforms, speaking about like communicating beforehand, before, during, and after. Mm-hmm. That was also something that Stevie said, like, it's not just about the during part, but before and after, because she was saying, I know how to listen during, but I'm also open to feedback. Absolutely. Like after. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, yeah. And again, like even like I think of it I think of it like, when you take a dance class, you do, well, hopefully you do some type of research before you go into the class, like knowing like, okay, I'm going to take a jazz class. I know what that is, or these are my expectations going into the class. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times teachers these days, like they'll kind of give a little overview before they just start jumping in, especially if it's like an open class and you have people coming in for the first time. Then there's instruction given during the class with feedback during. And then after the class, there's this moment of, afterthought and reflection. So, yes, dance is sex.
Dance is sex.
I love saying, yeah. Dance is so sex.
So, yeah, if you think of it that way. But again, we just don't know how to communicate as human beings. Like, even within our relationships that aren't sexual, we don't know how to do that. So, of course, people aren't talking about their sex life with their partner or potential partners. Right.
But this was like months after. So I'm like, okay, give me more feedback. I'm always here for feedback, by the way.
I know. Wait, I don't know it that way, but you are always giving people feedback.
Yeah, no, I get You're like, wait. But but they gave me some feedback that wasn't, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was like some constructive criticism. And it was because of the fact that they had moved on to a different person and, you know, experienced something different. And so even that conversation, had I never asked that question, I wouldn't know, like, oh, you know, maybe I should work on blah, 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 you know?
Right.
So it does, like, bring, like, some type of closure, but it also can be very informational for you. And I think that, you know, whoever you're engaging in sex with, most people want to actually pleasure that person. You don't want to be doing anything just to be like, oh, yeah, I had sex. It was great. It wasn't great. You were trash.
Trash.
So, we don't want to be trash people. So, you know, have the conversation. So much can come out of it.
True.
Agreed.
True. Okay, I'll get better doing that.
So, with that being said, my last thing I think we all can agree is that, you know, when you're trying to, have sex, period, but definitely trying to reach orgasm would be to take your time, be safe, and have fun.
Right. Have fun.
Yeah, sex is fun.
Sex is fun. Should be.
Okay, well, I want to put... Wait. Oh.
Go ahead.
I want to put this out there. It's kind of playing devil's advocate, but not at the same time. So, I read this tweet, like, last week, and I'm going to take some of it with a grain of salt because it was a man who tweeted this. He said, if the goal is to have an orgasm, then you should just masturbate. Now, when I first read that, I was like, what? And then, as I started to reflect on other conversations that I've had with people about sex, particularly with orgasming, there is this thought or position that some people take that orgasm shouldn't or isn't always the goal or the end game of sex. So just because you're having sex with someone doesn't mean that it wasn't good because you didn't orgasm.
Right.
Because I've spoken to a lot of my friends, particularly friends that identify as women, who have talked about, I'm having sex with my partner and, it's a really enjoyable experience, but, I haven't orgasmed with him, yet or ever. And obviously they know, like, what an orgasm feels like for them, but they don't feel like they're missing out on anything with this person. I guess because for them, the sexual encounter is so much more than the orgasm, but it's about connecting with the person. It's a way to connect with them on a physical, emotional, spiritual level. And so, while it's great to have an orgasm, I want to play devil's advocate to say that if you don't achieve orgasm, it doesn't mean that you failed or your partner failed at anything. And maybe orgasm just shouldn't always be the goal. Like, maybe sex doesn't have to have a goal. Maybe it's just about the experience. Like how I always say, it's not about the product, but it's about the process. So in this case, like, the orgasm would be the product. And more than likely, you will achieve to get that product one way or the other eventually, maybe. But if you're always focused on, like, the product, sometimes you miss out on the process. So, like,
that's that pressure she talked about earlier.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's why a lot of people aren't achieving orgasm, because it's so hyped up.
Yeah.
that to the point that like, oh, there's something wrong with me or there's something wrong with my partner because I didn't have an orgasm, and then they're missing out on the beauty of experiencing this connection with this other person.
Yep.
So I don't know what you think about that. I mean, you and I were kind of talking about it earlier, and I was like, well, I'm just going to leave it alone because then we're going to talk about it on the podcast anyway.
I agree with that.
But,
I like that statement. That
no, I agree with you.
Okay.
I absolutely agree. What I said to you earlier was very personal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, I understand that the way that I feel versus other people, you know.
Yeah. No, I know, like, and I'm not saying that it's wrong for a person to have that goal. I'm saying that it doesn't have to be everybody's goal.
Right.
Yeah. Facts. True facts.
I'm glad you brought another point.
Yeah. Because, you know.
I don't want people to leave this thinking that
right.
they're still broken, and they're not.
They're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And maybe because I just feel like, honestly, I'm always, most of the time, I'm coming from a very, like, queer perspective. And a lot of people think queer is just about, like, orientation. But I'm talking about queering, like, ideas and constructs. So, and a lot of people think when I'm saying queer, they thinking, oh, Abra, like, likes girls and fucks girls. No, I'm talking about the wide spectrum of things that don't fit into these boxes that are informed by, like, these social constructs that we've created. But, like, you know, talking to people who are demisexual, asexual, aromantic, sapiosexual. There's so many different, like, things on the spectrum. And so I'm always intrigued by that because that means that they are experiencing sex and attraction and arousal. Like, all of it is different for them in ways that, like, when we're just speaking from a lens of, like, this heteronormative, because even, like, gay and lesbian stuff is often informed by a heteronormative lens because we're putting people in roles and boxes and things. And so I lately, like, when I'm talking about sex, like, I'm always thinking about how can I queer this shit up? Like, and I think that's where, like, that devil's advocate comes into play. No pun intended with the devil. We gotta find another way to say that. But, but, you know.
Well, that's all I had, so thank you all so much for having this conversation with me.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Happy orgasm.
Yes.
Well, I'm not kidding, actually, but yeah.
No, yeah. I hope you all are having good orgasms real soon. So I guess we can move into Shameless Plug.
We surely can. And while I go through Shameless Plug, you should think of a song because you're doing the song of the week.
Yay! Go Abra!
Okay.
Alright, so
I felt it in my spirit.
My first Shameless Plug. There are 2 events in Houston, Texas that my wonderful friend Candace Kittner is a part of. So I wanted to put it out there. The first one is Sisters Doing More. They are inviting you to the 2nd annual I Deserve It Summit on Saturday, July 27th at Hotel, I'm going to spell it out, YLEM, because I'm not sure how to say that. This event is from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and tickets are available at www.sistersdoingmore.com. The second event is also in Houston, Texas, the day following. Hopefully Holiday LLC presents Picnic at the Park on Sunday, July 28th in Hermann Park at 6 p.m. So Candace is a licensed therapist, wonderful Black woman doing wonderful things for the Black community in Houston, Texas, in the realm of mental health. And so these two events are surrounding mental health. From the titles, you can kind of tell the person is I Deserve It. The other one is just called Picnics in the Park, but it actually is for mental health in a way that you can come and just like relax and enjoy nature and people. So if you are a listener in Houston, Texas, July 27th and 28th, there are events in your area and you should attend them.
Mm-hmm. Dope.
So my next one is my wonderful sister, Toya Smith. She has a blog. Well, she started out with a blog, and then she started making some like T-shirts and stuff, and now she's released her first book. It is currently online. It's called Single Christian Girl in the City. And actually, since we're talking about sex, this is great because it's always an option. It's about so it's a 10-day devotional all about celibacy and kind of like her journey as well as like if you want to be on that journey, helping you begin that journey. And so you should check that out at www.covenantlifestyles.com. And you can find that there as well as her blog and shirts and everything else that has to do with Toya Smith. She's great. She was a part of my family before I was even born, so this is like we deep in this thing.
Yes.
Supporting her. And then her brother, which is clearly like my brother, because he's been around before I was born too. His name is Joshua Smith, and he just created a blog, and I'm so excited about it because I've been around him all my life, and so I kind of know some of his journey with depression. That's what his blog is all about. So it is called The Lion's Den, and it can be found and followed on WordPress at thelionsden0.home.blog. So if you're like me, I like blogs just as much as I like blogs or podcasts. I just love all of it. And you can follow his page there. He's also a rapper and just a writer in general. So I'm really excited to see how he tells his story of how he's dealt with depression his entire life. But through like some like just journaling type entries, and I'm sure there's going to be like some poetry, maybe even some songs he may drop. Some of his music has to do with that. So that should be really cool. And then my last one, but definitely not least, MzRedCarpet. So this is like my mom. She's not really my mom, of course, but she's like my mom when she was like that teenager. Well, was she a teenager at the time? I think she was a teenager / young adult at the time when I was a kid in church that I just attached to, and I wanted to be around her all the time. I think I talked about her before on the podcast, or maybe just to you, Ava, because she lives in Nashville.
Yeah, we've mentioned her on the show before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So her company name and also just like her name, that her brand is MzRedCarpet, and that's MzRedCarpet.
Mm-hmm.
She does makeup super well. Like, she's always been good at that, and so she has really, really great business with that. She's been through celebrities and stuff. But on top of that, she wanted to branch out even more with her brand, and so she just launched her product line that just has began with lashes and her signature red lipstick. And the lipstick comes in like a liquid that turns into matte, and then there's like the regular lipstick, which I was like, yes, for the options, okay? And then she had a lot of options for different types of lashes, from like, kind of natural chills to like berry, those who like to do it big with their lashes. Fortunately and unfortunately, she literally launched her product line on Friday, I believe it was. The entire site sold out by 3 p.m. that day.
Wow.
So, like, that's literally amazing. And then later that night, Friday evening, I believe, she had like a launch party for the line. And so I believe everything she took to the launch party was sold out as well.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm really happy for her to see that she's done so much work to build her brand and to be connected to people, and she's someone that people want to support, especially of course, Black business. Okay.
Right.
But I was like, dang, I couldn't even get no lashes yet. I don't get paid until Tuesday. I'm like, I should have pre-ordered because y'all really just went crazy. But it's okay because y'all should be supporting my mama. I appreciate it. And I love when you're connected to someone and you could, and this will probably sound bogus, but you can support them because they're actually good at what they do.
Right.
As opposed to having to be like, ooh, she's not that good. Or you can't even have those conversations and just being like, yeah, that's my friend. And won't really say much to support them. When you could be like all in somebody because they're good at what they do, like that's the best feeling. So, with that being said, if you want to look at more of the faces she's done, or just be prepared for the restock of her product line, then you can visit MzRedCarpet.com. Remember that's MzRedCarpet.com, MzRedCarpet.com. Because the restock is coming. I don't know when. She said she'll let me know as soon as they decide, because she didn't expect things to go that quickly. Mm-hmm. But it will be back, and I'm telling you, if you like lashes, you want to get into them, because, I love lashes. I don't know how to do them yet. But I was like, I'm going to buy them and force myself to learn how to do it.
Yes.
She has some really, really great options. The packaging is really cute. And then that lipstick, too, I don't do much of a red, but I would love to find a really nice outfit that I can just, smack that red on and just be fine. I'm trying to be a grown woman. Okay. Feel me?
I feel you, girl. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's all I have for,
I was saying, that's just amazing.
It is.
Wow. Yeah.
You sold out the same day that you, that is crazy. But it's great.
Yes.
That's great. So, yeah, that's all I have for my shameless plug.
Okay.
Great. Well, I don't have any, so other than just the usual, make sure that you guys follow us on social media and give us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or any other streaming platform that lets you rate, review, whatever it is, because it really helps us be more visible to the world. So I guess that's my shameless plug. But nothing's really going on, surprisingly. Yeah, so I guess I'm doing Song of the Week. I did not know that I was going to have to do this.
Okay, come on.
And I don't know why I'm so nervous. Probably because I am in my living room and I usually record in my office. What key do I want to sing this in?
Elf.
No, I don't really know keys like that.
I don't either. It's up the key. I'm just making shit up.
Let me be higher or lower. Okay, well, the song is Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell. I guess because we were talking about communicating and all of that. Wow, I was singing in the car earlier, but I was singing the Lion King stuff. So I'm prepping to see the remake with my dad, actually. So let me shift my singing mind. Okay. It's so funny too because Nomi used to, when I was a kid, she's like, ready, sing. We just We always had to be ready.
Ready.
And she would be like, "Why don't you know the song?" That's probably why I feel this way. I'm just gonna sing the chorus because I just can't, like, with both of you. Okay. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. I started to write you a letter, but I wanted to be more clever. I wanted to get down and sweet talk you. Hey, hey, baby. And just like a baby, you were too shy. But you were the only one, so was I. Girl, we should come close again. I know what I will say again. Oh, girl, if you give me one more chance, I'll say, hey, can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk for a minute?
Yes.
Girl, I want to know your name. Oh my God.
I love the hype in the background.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh.
Okay, so yes. Praise the Lord, everybody. Thanks a lot. So you got next week's song of the week because yeah.
You only get it every now and then. This was like, what, your second, third time?
Okay, throw me. I feel the shade. Ooh, I see the darkness. All right.
I'm saying because you're like, you're going to do it. Matter of fact, you're going to do it for the rest of the month. Yeah.
Hey!
Okay, well, just give me a heads up next time so I can, prepare and okay.
Good job on finding a song so quick because I be struggling.
Yes, girl, you be like,
I'll be searching through my library and everything like, dang, I don't know none of these songs.
I know. See, and we would probably fail at song association because I'd be like,
Bro, I'm going to play. Matter of fact, we might have to play that when you come. I really want to do that as like a drunk game with a lot of people.
Yes,
but
we're doing it.
We can play that with as many people as you can find.
Okay, I'm for it. I'm with it. Well, guys, this was great. Thank you, Nomi, for sharing
Thank you.
your knowledge, your wisdom, and y'all stay tuned for episode, I think it's going to be episode 24 or 25, whatever it is. Check it out. Nomi has her own episode where me and her had a beautiful conversation. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Until then, we'll see you guys next week. See you. We want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. Continue the conversation with us. Develop a community with other misfits and mystics like us, and get your latest updates on Shameless Plugs and other news by following us on social media. We are on Instagram at Misfits and Mystics Pod, Twitter at Misfits Mystics, and we also have a Facebook page that you can like and share. Want to reach us directly? Shoot us an email at misfitsandmysticspod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, and with your permission, we might give you a shout out on future episodes.
Don't forget to subscribe on whatever streaming service you're using to stay up to date on newest episodes being released.
Leave us a review on iTunes to help us gain more visibility. Plus, we appreciate the feedback.